Every performance pistol class you're going to go to, you're going to hear grip and vision. Shoot at the speed of your sights. Well, we try to conceptualize that as best as we can, but we're restricted with words and hoping that you can understand the things we're trying to illustrate with just mere words. And some people's vocabularies aren't as effective as others. Some people's imaginations, like mine, I have a hard time imagining things that you're telling me that I've never seen before, isn't as good as others. So let me take some time here to give you a graph of confirmation, shooting at the speed of minimal confirmation, which is the what we really should be saying. Thanks for tuning in. This is Synergy Training Group. I'm the owner and lead instructor, Tyler Tharp. I try to put out the best information I can with what I got, and I'm getting into national travel classes, teaching at conferences, whatnot. I really hope to see you on the range sometime. YouTube is a way for me to share some information, download some thoughts that I may not be able to put out in classes, and maybe even give you a taste of what you'll find in class to see if you are the right student for me or if I'm the right coach for you. Back to the task at hand here. Shooting at the speed of minimal confirmation is really what gets you the best results. When we are talking about high performance shooting, being as fast, as effective, and as accurate as possible, all right, all under the constraints of some sort of pressure, we need to be shooting at the speed of minimal confirmation. Anything more than that, you're wasting time. Anything less than that, you're missing or being shooting irresponsibly, if you will. What I have here is the best graph that I can give you on a whiteboard. The black line is your zero. All right, so imagine the very center of whatever target you're choosing. It can be the center of an A zone, the center of a head box, the center of a B8. Use your imagination here, okay? The green lines just outside of it are going to be, imagine the constraints of lots of confirmation needed. So imagine trying to go for a 10 ring on a B8 at 15 yards, okay? Now, for some of us, that's not hard, but for a lot of people, most gun owners, that's challenging. That requires a lot of effort and focus. The blue constraints of confirmation would be the next one out. So imagine just trying to hit the B8 itself at 15 yards. That's not bad. And then the purple would be an even looser, if you will, confirmation or a constraint. Imagine just trying to hit an A zone in a USPSA target at 10 yards, wide open A zone at 10 yards or 7 yards. Okay, whatever confirmation and distance and target size that it suits you for the lowest confirmation needed. This all becomes subjective, and the better you are at gripping the pistol and understanding predictive shooting and return to zero instead of fighting recoil, the easier this all gets, and your minimal confirmation needed gets a little looser, if you will, a little broader, a little easier. So for some of us, the most confirmation needed, the most we need to let that dot settle, the more we need to let that dot settle for a higher confirmation for us would be like trying to hit a head box with a high consequence of miss at 10 plus yards. For other people, that may be trying to hit a head box with no consequence of miss at 5 yards. It's just some people it's still harder for because they haven't quite dialed in or gotten the experience needed to truly understand how to make the gun recoil in a natural neutral pattern and return right back to where they left it from. They're either still trying to fight it or they're still moving the gun a lot during the trigger break, or so on and so forth. All right. I'm using red because a lot of us have a red fiber optic iron sight on the front or a red dot optic. Okay, so just imagine the red here as your sight. Okay, and how much disturbance there is. We're going to start here. This is where your point of aim is. Now, all of this is under the premise that you didn't move the gun when you press the trigger. We're just talking about sight confirmation needed right now. All right, missing, if you move the gun when you pull the trigger, then what confirmation you use didn't really matter all that much because you're moving the gun, and that the movement in the gun may be within or out of the confirmation that you needed. But you still needed to understand the amount of confirmation needed. No matter what you do, though, the gun is going to recoil. All right, it's going to look something like this. Shot breaks, and if you're really good, it only comes around to about here and just wobbles and gets a little better. Okay. Now, about here to about, let's say, here-ish, when the gun is done cycling, is anywhere, depending on gun and ammo, 7 to 9 hundredths of a second. Okay. And then anything beyond that, you're just trying to let the wobble, the last little bit of disturbance in the sight, settle to whatever you need. Now, depending on your skill level, this part here may be a lot further down the road. It may end up being 15 to 2/10 of a second before you are able to get that sight to wobble within the green line of confirmation or even the blue line of confirmation, depending again on your skill level. Some even more than that, especially if you're shooting bigger calibers and whatnot, and you truly don't understand letting the gun just simply lift and recoil and return back to where you left it from. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this. I'm just saying that's the principle that we need to truly embrace and abide by. Now, all that happens in about the main disturbance of the gun happens in that 7 to 9 hundredths. Ooh, I messed that up. 9 hundredths of a second. I forgot a decimal place. Sorry about that, guys. And anything after that, again, the gun is done cycling. You're just waiting on the disturbance in the sights to settle down to go back to the minimal confirmation needed for the target that you're on or the next one you're going to. Skill level dictates how far this disturbance goes down in time, so on and so forth. Now, back to the task at hand. There are 3 different sight pictures that I ask people to look for and describe to me and even apply to different target difficulties, consequences of miss, and whatnot. And again, it all is subjective to their skill level at the time. But for the sake of conversation, the 3 I use are just like Max Michel: flash, floating, and focused. So a flash sight picture is here. Imagine it being in the purple. That is totally okay. We're shooting super aggressive. This is totally okay in what we're looking for a bill drill. At 7 yards in the A zone with no consequence of miss, I am working within sight disturbance that stays just a flash of red painting up and down the A zone. That disturbance is totally okay. I'm monitoring the whole thing. Totally fine. Let's move back. The next one would be floating. We kind of let it just float around. We haven't truly refined it yet. That's within the blue. Okay, so gun goes bang, and as soon as it goes bang and starts to level out in the blue, before it gets to the green, because that would be too much confirmation, I'm pressing the shot again. Okay, if I press the shot before it has settled down, so in this little loop of disturbance, again, I'm shooting irresponsibly. I don't have enough confirmation with the sight on target that the target is demanding, and I pulled the trigger anyway. I'm likely to miss, and even then, I'm not being accountable to that shot because I didn't truly see it enough. Next one down, floating sight picture. So I'm sorry, focus sight picture. So we're truly letting that red dot completely settle. Maybe not completely settle, depending on, again, your skill level, but settle enough for a very refined sight picture, sight movie, if you will. So think head box with high consequence of miss at 10 yards. Gun goes bang. It should not dip down. All right, but if you're still fighting recoil and you're shoving down to it and you're having to recover it from the bottom, that's sometimes what it looks like. But you can't pull that trigger again until the sight disturbance is within that focused sighting scheme, sight picture, sight movie for that headshot. If I were to pull the trigger here or here, again, I don't have enough confirmation. I just simply do not have enough confirmation, and I'm shooting irresponsibly. If it is already well within the sighting scheme that we need, the settling of disturbance, and we're waiting well, then I'm just killing time. I'm not being effective on the timer. If I shoot here, that is perfect because I know that the sight has settled enough for the confirmation needed for the target at hand, and I'm okay. Like the sight has given me permission to pull the trigger. Now, as long as I don't move the gun, too much influence in the grip with the trigger press, and it's within my sight sight verification needed, sight confirmation needed, I'm going to make a good effective hit. Again, we wait too long, we're wasting time, shooting too soon or outside of the confirmation needed. We are being irresponsible and not accountable to those shots. Let me pull out a little laser gun, and I hope this is effective across video and see what this looks like. Hopefully y'all can see that. So, shot goes off, bang! And again, you still haven't figured out the return to zero thing. You're still shoving down into the gun, and it goes down and up and then all that, but bang! Up and then down and all that, and again, bang! If you pull the trigger here again, or down here again, you're well outside of any confirmation in the sights. Again, you are being irresponsible and unaccountable to the shots you're firing. If you're the other person where you're a very accuracy first minded person and you don't mind waiting for that perfect shot, it'll look like this right here. Bang! Bang! Cool, man. It took you 5 seconds to make quote unquote a perfect shot when you had enough verification in about half the time. Like the half the amount of time you took to shoot, you actually had the verification needed. You just didn't quite understand it, and you weren't trusting yourself enough for it. Finding that perfect balance and truly shooting at the speed of minimal confirmation needed is something we all should be striving for. It's a constant battle, and it's ever changing. The better you get, the less confirmation you need, or the sooner you'll get that minimal confirmation needed. The best thing I can tell y'all is this: shoot different target sizes, set out an array. Shoot different target sizes, consequences miss, hard covers, no shoots, things of that nature. Shoot them, being focused on the spot that you want to shoot on each one of those targets, and just being aware of what the sight does, the picture that it is painting along the way, okay? Or the movie that it is recording along the way. Try to relive all of that. While doing all that, what I need you to do so that you can monitor that and other things aren't changing, because if too many variables, it messes up this whole process, is I need you to build your grip and not change it through this whole process, okay? If you were seeing less than ideal results, maybe change something in the grip. Figure out what it is in that grip that you're not liking. Change one thing, try it again. What you're looking for truly is that bang, and it never goes back below where you were originally aiming. Holy moly, is that difficult to do. It's one of the hardest things I'm learning how to do, and most of the time I can do it, and then other times when it doesn't happen, I'm like, oh man, I changed something. I gotta put it back the way it was. Usually it's some sort of inconsistency or change in my grip that happens for some weird reason, and I have to reset it and sort of start over. Not literally start over, but start my verification process over in my head. But if you can create an unchanging grip that constantly returns to zero, that predictive shooting that has become so popular in the industry, and you truly understand shooting at minimal confirmation needed, this is a very gross graph, don't hang me by this, you are going to be very successful. In my accountability at speed class, this is the whole premise. This in shot calling is the whole premise of 16 hours of being accountable at speed. Shooting at the speed of minimal confirmation. So I hope that it helps you understand a little better what people are truly meaning when they say shoot at the speed of your sights, or the pace of your sights, or shoot your sights, or grip and vision, and all this and that. Those are just broad ways of saying all this nerdy stuff right here. I hope this bit of nuance is helpful. Please, by all means, put your questions down in the comments below, and I'll try to help the best I can explain this. This is really best understood and relayed in person, but I'll do my best that I can on the internet. I hope y'all have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you sign up for a class soon.